Alright. Hi guys, this is the JAV Show. This is Viv, and I believe this is this year's first solo podcast between Alvin and I. Now, we decided to do a solo podcast this time because obviously you guys know around the summertime everyone gets really busy, and this month my schedule has just been really busy, and unfortunately I'm also really sick right now. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice. My nose is a bit stuffy, and I swear I haven't felt this sick in over a decade. It just randomly hit me. Like, I was feeling amazing 1 second, and next second I literally thought I was gonna pass out. So with that ado, welcome to the first solo podcast of the year. Alvin has already done his, I'm sure, and so you guys will be hearing mine like the following week. We're going to do the same thing that we usually do, where we decide on 2 questions each, but of course the questions that I decided on were too similar to something we did before. So Alvin took it upon himself to just think of all the topics this time. And that's what we're going to do. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 main parts of this podcast, and I'm sure we're both going to go through the questions or the prompts in the same order. So I hope you guys enjoy Alvin's podcast. I'm excited to listen to his and see what he has to say, and I hope you guys enjoy mine. The first question, or the first prompt, is name a childhood friend and their impact. Now, when I was thinking about what to say for this, I thought of a couple of friends, but one that I want to focus on, and I might touch upon the other ones and tell a little story about the other ones afterwards. But the first friend that I want to talk about, I won't name drop her completely, but the first friend I want to talk about, her name starts with A. Or the letter A. The reason why I wanted to tell this story was because I think my experience with her, or at least I had a takeaway outlook that came from our friendship that is unlike any other that I've had. And I think it's really shaped how I see people nowadays, in a way. So my friend A, I've known her since kindergarten. She is a really beautiful person inside and out. Like, on the outside, she has really long lashes, very, very nice facial features. And on the inside, she is so well composed. She's like an artist on the inside. She is a writer on the inside, a photographer, a creative, an intellect, a slow burn, smell the roses, and really enjoy life for what it is type of person. Now, I say this because of the extent of who I got to know her as when we were friends, and from throughout the years who I've kind of seen her grow into. We don't talk anymore simply because we've just grown apart. However, in elementary school and junior high, when I was close with her, I did see this side of her. And throughout high school, when we started growing apart because we went to 2 different high schools, through social media, I could tell that she just really stayed on that path. So one reason why I wanted to talk about her was because when I was younger, there was a moment in between grades where obviously when you're that young, you have summer break, and summer break is 2 months long. And when you're a kid, 2 months is fucking forever. It lasts so fucking long. Versus now, I'm like, holy shit, we're halfway through the year already. Time just whizzes by now. I completely understand when people say, oh, next thing you know, it's like a decade passes in a blink of an eye. It's nuts. But when you're younger, when you're still in elementary school and junior high school, every month, every week feels like you're really living each minute. And so this one time during a summer break, I felt like I haven't seen my friends in like fucking forever. And so her and I decided to become pen pals. Now, I know typically for the idea of pen pals, you're typically in another city, very far away. You mail these letters to each other. But we just wanted to keep in touch, and we both really loved writing. So we decided to email each other. We would email each other these long ass pages and pages telling each other about our days, our lives, kind of like journaling to a degree. But we would send it to each other, and I would always look forward to it because I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted a pen pal, and now I have one. It's someone who I really enjoy her company. She's a great friend, and we both really connect on a lot of these creative pieces or just talking about life. And so she's my first experience of ever, first and only really experience ever of having a pen pal. And for those of you who don't know, I really enjoy writing and reading. So that really, I really enjoyed it, having a pen pal and being able to type so much and talk to someone to that degree and that much and have them be equally as excited. The other reason why I wanted to tell you guys this story of this friend was because I got to know her so closely. She was somebody who was Muslim of faith. And in my junior high, there was like a decent number of people in that faith. And because I was exposed to it and I was close to someone who practiced that faith, she wore a hijab as well. Because I was so close to someone who was practicing that religion, I got to see the small ways people devote themselves to religion and their why, and how it's important to them, and how people carry themselves when they're devout to a religion. Like, she would talk about these qualities and these ways of living life that even I resonated with. And I wouldn't say I'm religious at all. I was raised Buddhist, but for myself personally, I don't practice anything. I'm agnostic. However, seeing her practice all these beliefs and carry herself in a way that I just deem as a really good person in and out, it made me see the Muslim faith as something that's really freaking beautiful. And because I had a lot of other friends that were also practicing that faith and also fully believed in it, it made me look at all of them as, damn, you guys are really beautiful people. Like, as a person, as a character, people who practice this faith are truly good people. Like, they're truly outstanding human beings. And I've been close with people of a lot of other religions. And I'm not saying that every single other person of, or people that I've met of other religions, I was like, oh, that sucks. This sucks. No, I'm just saying this one stood out. This friend who was of Muslim faith, it really stood out to me on how beautiful their beliefs are, and how when somebody is able to practice it and really carry themselves in a way that is aligned with it, they're just a good fucking person. Like, they have great intentions, they carry themselves well, they're kind, their intentions are pure. It's an impression that I haven't had with any other religion. I know every other religion has people that are good, people that are bad, but I haven't met someone from another religion that has been able to show me just how beautiful the religion is to that degree. And so this friend, A, from getting to know her and seeing how she carried herself in this way, I was like, damn, Muslim people are beautiful. And I've never had that type of impression of any other religion before. So when I was thinking of this prompt to name a childhood friend and their impact, I would say my friend A really gave me a very special impression on a whole faith of people. And even though we have lost touch, we've grown apart, I still hope that she's well, and that, yeah, if I ever see her, I'd be like, oh my god, hi, long time no see. And so I would say that's one of my childhood friends that has left me with quite an impact. I'm going to name two other friends. Now, one other friend that I thought of, her name started with a C. Now, the reason why I wanted to tell you about her was because out of everyone I've ever known in my entire life, I would say she's one of the funniest people ever. It's just one of those people that their comedic timing is fucking perfect. They're funny without trying. They're one of those friends that when you hang out with them, you just die laughing every single time. Every single time. And I remember she was also a friend of mine in elementary school and junior high, and we grew apart in high school because I just went to a completely different high school from most of my friends growing up. But I remember before moving on to high school, the last summer of junior high, her and I were walking home together, and I remember thinking to myself, damn, I'm quite aware that going to different schools and growing up, people just naturally grow apart. People naturally go in their own direction. And there's going to be friends that you just won't see anymore. And I had a feeling that she was going to be one of those friends, because back in those days, I think social media was just starting to bud, but it wasn't really something that I was really adhered to. So I just thought, you know what? There's more than likely a chance that I just will grow apart from you. And that's fine. We don't live in the same neighborhood. We're probably just going to grow apart. I don't know why I didn't think, oh, I should try and keep in touch. But regardless, we did kind of hang out every once in a while during high school, but eventually we just grew apart, and I think that's just natural. But I remember that last summer when we were walking home together, I thought, damn, am I ever going to find a friend as funny as you? That we just crack jokes all the fucking time, and we have the same type of humor where we ignite each other. One person says something, the other person says another thing, and the comedic timing of everything is just so crisp, clear, and amazing. Everyone's always laughing. We're both always just cracking jokes, and we just get it, you know? And I would say that there's a few friends that, yeah, I laugh a whole fuck ton with now, that I get deep belly laughs with now. But she definitely has her own right in being somebody that is just so fucking funny. And I would say it's like she herself is really funny, but I think how we connected in our friendship, we were funny together. Like we made each other laugh. And I think laughter is the best medicine to a lot of things. And you kind of always remember how people make you feel over what someone said or what someone did. And yeah, I wanted to share this little bit or this little story of her, that she was really fucking funny. And I hope she's doing well. I haven't heard from her since over a decade, but yeah. The last friend I wanted to mention, I'm kind of debating between two. I'll give a quick story in both, actually. I'm sure we have time. So one, his name starts with an S. And the reason why I wanted to share him was because I've also known him since fucking, I think, elementary school. I think kindergarten as well. He is a character. Every once in a blue moon, I will randomly think of him because of how much of a character he is. And the reason why I wanted to share this story of him, it's kind of inspirational. So he is smart. He is one of those people that are naturally fucking smart. Like, you know, his brain, his IQ, it's clearly more than the average person. He would never try that hard, like ever. In elementary school, junior high, I caught up with him a few times during high school and university. He would just never really try. And you know it's effortless because of how he carried himself. He was a laid back, hippie type of guy. He had long hair. He wore tie-dye, sometimes wore band shirts. He was just so laid back. Would skip school if he wanted to. He just didn't really care. But he always, pretty much always got 100% or over. If you didn't think that there was a bonus on the test, now there is, because he got it. I remember in junior high, he got some award for having the highest grade out of everyone in our grade in the whole city. Something like that. Like one of the top people for like one of the finals. It was nuts. And it was like consistent too. Besides him being smart, he was also a character in the sense of he always believed in himself, and he was so fucking talented. So fucking talented in music specifically. So he, in junior high, he was a part of band. And I remember this one time, he was like, oh, I know how to play guitar so well. I can shred a guitar. I love listening to screamo music, rock music. But I don't know how to play a piano yet. And I know how to play a piano. So I was like, oh, let me teach you. He was like, oh, yeah, sure. So one day at lunch, I just went into the band room. I was teaching him basic notes of piano. And then lunch is only, I don't even know how long, half an hour long. After that, I remember, I think it was 2, 3 days later, I went back and I was like, oh, so do you remember the keys? Expecting him to be like, oh yeah, I remember where C, D, E, F, G, blah, blah, blah. So I remember the basic chord. But no, this dude came back and was like, oh, so I realized it's not that hard to know how to play by ear. And that obviously strings of a guitar have notes. And it's just kind of like, as long as you know the notes where they are on a piano and you kind of get how to read sheet music, it all just kind of clicked to me. And so within, I believe it was like a week, he was able to play any song that you played for him on the piano without a mistake. Literally Mozart that fucking shit. And I remember being like, dude, that's insane. You should teach me piano now. And it's only been a fucking week. And then he went on to learn, I think it was violin next and then drums, or he already knew drums. It was violin next, and he did wood instruments next. And I was like, dude, did I meet a fucking music prodigy? This guy's genius in school, always getting 100%, always getting 110%. And then when it comes to music, you just fucking get it. I want to learn an instrument. I got it. Impressive. So impressive. And this guy, I remember whenever I would talk to him, because we were pretty close, he'd be like, yeah, like, it's no point in stressing about things. Life is life. Try your best, and that's all you got. Follow your passions, because your passions are there because they make you happy. And I think that's the key to life. And I think that kind of mindset is really inspiring. It's something that I think is valuable as we get older, life gets stressful. You have 1,000,001 things to do on your to-do list. And I feel like as you get older, a lot of people fall out of love with their passion, or it feels like your to-do list, the things you have to do to adult, it just takes over, and people don't prioritize their passions and the things that they actually want to do in their spare time and the things that actually make them happy. And I'm so sure, even though I've also lost touch with this dude, that he's still doing things that he loves now effortlessly too. And with good right, because he's just fucking smart and talented as fuck. And with the chillest, the nicest personality as well. Now, the fourth person that I want to mention, his name starts with an E. And I met him in junior high. The reason why I wanted to share a story about him is because I would have a lot of late night talks with him over Messenger back in this day. Or not Messenger, MSN. It was MSN back then. And when I was younger, I always felt like I was, not to toot my own horn or anything, but this is a genuine feeling, guys, more mature in how I viewed life. It's kind of like I lost my innocence as a child, and I always saw the dark side of life that I guess some kids are shielded from. Now, I know people have gone through like much worse shit than I have, but I felt like my perspective was never really the same perspective as a kid that's just being a kid. And part of it is also because when I was growing up, my parents never raised me to that same degree. Like, they were never like, oh yeah, here's a tooth fairy, or here's Santa Claus, or oh, we're not going to tell you about this because you're just a kid. They told me everything. They wouldn't hide anything. They would tell me things as things are, as if I was an adult. there wasn't any make-believe, there wasn't any magic, there wasn't any, oh, we'll just maybe, tell you a bit about the birds and the bees because, you're just a kid. Or when a mom and a dad love each other so much, they'd be like, no, babies come from having sex. Things like that. Like, nothing was ever, what's the term for it? Nothing was ever sugar-coated for me. And so with this friend, it felt kind of rare that after we became friends, we became kind of close. When I would talk to him, he also had a perspective that wasn't sugar coated. So in junior high and elementary school too, I guess. And okay, well, during this period of my life, I had insane insomnia. I just never fucking slept. I remember it was a normal thing to have 1 or 2 all-nighters at least every week. Every single fucking week. It was so normal to me. And then sleeping 2, 3, 4 hours, also fucking normal. And this friend, he was also an insomniac. And he would also have like 1, 2, 3 nights where he just had all-nighters per week. Same as me. And so because of that, whenever one of us would see the other person on MSN, we would just start chatting and we would talk about life. And sometimes it would get a little bit depressing because he was going through quite a bit of stuff. But sometimes we would also talk about random things, like talking about how life is structured, how we go to school, get a job. The typical idea would be you go to school, get a job, pay bills till you die. A little sad of a perspective, but we would talk about things like that and things that were kind of critical of life. And I felt like at the time, it was something that I really appreciated because it felt like we could talk about things without any filters and go down whatever rabbit hole and be as depressive as we want to be and just be really real with it. You know how I feel like when you have some friends that haven't gone through the same depth as you have, or you know that they can't handle certain types of news, that they'll like freak out, or they won't. It's kind of like friends that you can't make depressing jokes around. When you have a friend that you can, it provides a level of like comfort. And so with this friend, I could talk to him about anything like that. I could talk to him about anything depressing, I could complain about life to him. He could complain about his life to me. And I felt like we both appreciated that friendship and how we could be real with each other in this way. Whenever I was going through something in my personal life and I had to miss school for it, he'd be one of the friends that I would tell, that I would be like, yeah, you know what, life fucking sucks right now and it's because of this, and this is why I'm not at school today. And I wouldn't really tell many other people. And same with him, he would be like, I'm not showing up tomorrow because of this. And I'd be like, damn, good luck with whatever you're going through, whatever it would have been at the time. And I felt like having a friend like that kind of knows the hard times and can also sit in the mud with you, it's a really good friend to have. Especially at that age when you're fucking, how old are you when you're in junior high? 12? 12, 13, 14? It's kind of rare, I feel. So that was a friend that I definitely appreciated, and a friend that I've, of course, lost touch after. I would talk to him a bit here and there during high school, but eventually I also lost touch. But yeah, that was another friend that made a nice impact in my life. Okay, so the next prompt. Goodness, I'm talking so much I can't fucking breathe because my nose is stuffed. The next prompt is say something nice about each of your direct family members. I am a part of a four-person cohort in my immediate family. There is my mom, my dad, and my sister, and myself. If I were to say something nice about each one of my direct family members, it would be... Okay, I feel like, as everyone knows, your direct family will have the most complicated relationships with you more than anyone else. Unless you're completely estranged, always been estranged, they've never been in your life. But if they're in your life, I'm sure that your relationship with your immediate family is very complicated in the sense that it's deep. I don't know. You could say, oh, I'm not even close to my family. But I'm saying complicated in the fact that because they're in your immediate family, you've had really, really bad times, I'm sure. Or actually, fuck, I keep going back on my word. Maybe you've had an amazing relationship with some of your immediate family members. Maybe they're like the best person ever that you've ever known. But from my experience, you've had really, really bad times. And you've also had times where you're so glad that they exist in your life. And so I want to focus on the times when I've been able to really appreciate the good parts and the people that are my direct family members. My dad, let's start with him. There's this one thing that, okay, I'm going to say two things. So there's one thing first and foremost that I felt like I was really, really lucky to have and grow up with is that when I was growing up, there was a part of my childhood where whenever I was really, really scared of something or really, really worried about something, to the point where I just couldn't hide it, I hid a lot of things emotionally. But when it came to a point where I couldn't hide it, like I worried about our budget, I worried about our physical safety, like the physical safety of our house, whether someone's going to break into the house or not. I worried about the stability of my parents' jobs. I worried about health. Whenever it came down to it, my dad always had this one saying, and it was kind of cliche. Never fear, daddy's here. He said it so often because I cried so often. And the thing is, it was never just a saying. I know he knows that I know. But the impact still was the same in that when I would have moments where I would go to him and say, what are we going to do about the budget? What are we going to do about the finances? You guys are so tight on budget. Or, oh my goodness, like we have to save up so much money because of this or this. Or it just takes one wrong move and we'll be in a hole. Or like, how much money do we have saved? My dad, bless his soul, he went and took out a wad of cash from the bank, made a huge bundle, and whenever I would cry, he'd pull it out, show me it, and say, look at this wad of cash. Does this look like we should be worrying this much. And I fucking knew. I knew. Anyone could go into their bank account and take out a lot of cash. I was like, dude, just because you have this wad of cash doesn't mean you have more anywhere else, or it doesn't mean that we potentially cannot be fucked. But I was like, I know that you're doing this just to comfort me as a child. And he knew that I knew that too. But it still worked. And I think that intention gave such a lasting impact on me as a kid. I would always, whenever I had a big meltdown or a worry about something, I would even tell myself, never fear, Daddy's here. Or if there was a thunderstorm, which I was really, really scared of natural disasters as well. If there was a thunderstorm and the power went out, he would say, never fear, Daddy's here. And so him and I, whenever there wasn't a thunderstorm, we would create these emergency kits for each one of the possible things that could happen. So a thunderstorm, we'd be like, oh my God, never fear, Daddy's here. Remember what we did? Yes. Let's go to our thunderstorm kit. Everyone has a thunderstorm kit personally made for them. And inside the bag that we would create for each person of the house would be, look, there is a hand crank flashlight that is hand crank operated, so manually operated. There is a battery operated flashlight for immediate power. There is a flashlight with an attachment where you could clip it onto a hat so that you could clip it on, put on a hat, clip it on, and now you can walk around and look at things in the dark with ease. There is a forehead lamp attachment in your bag so that if you don't have a fucking hat, now you can still walk around and look at things in the dark with ease. You want to go another route? There are candles in your bag in case you need a traditional method of light. There are waterproof matches. There is a lighter. Okay, what if, oh my God, what if there's a tornado? Or what if we're stuck inside our house? Oh, never fear, Daddy's here. We have a giant box in the basement, waterproof, of course, that has a certain amount of water stored. It has canned food. It has blankets. It has emergency routes that we planned out. It has emergency numbers. It has a radio, a backup battery generator, shit like that. Like, he fed into all my worries in a way that was like, I acknowledge that this is a worry. I'm not going to tell you it's too much. I'm going to show you what we can do to control it and how we can prepare for it if it were to happen. So that even if you overthink, even if you worry, never fear. Daddy's here. We got a solution. And that's something that I'm very, very lucky to have from my dad. Very, very lucky. The other thing that I wanted to mention about him is his parenting style. I've told many friends about this because I genuinely appreciate it. But as an Asian person, growing up in an Asian household, my dad raised me in a way that wasn't really your traditional Asian type. So if I ever misbehave in some way, overfilled the bathtub because I was playing with my toys, or fucked around too much and broke something, he wouldn't be the parent that would just grab a stick or a hanger and hit me. as a punishment or make me pull my ears while I stand against a wall as a punishment, unlike traditional Asian parents, unlike my mom. He would talk to me. He would just say, hey, so as your father, I have one main job. And my main job is to keep you safe and keep you healthy. Now, when you do certain things like this, I have to override and I have to let you know that it's not safe or it's not healthy in some way. And he would say, like, hey, so you shouldn't have over flooded the bathtub because now you're going to have to clean it. It was a huge waste of water. Water does cost money. And now you have damaged all our floorboards and our carpet. And the reason why that's not a good thing is because now we have to pay to get it fixed. And that takes time, that takes money. Money that we shouldn't need to spend if you were careful. So I'm not going to hit you. But now you know the reason why that's not a good thing to do. And I think that's a very, very valuable way of talking to your kids when they're younger, because obviously you're a kid. You're gonna play around, you're gonna do some stupid shit, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna break things and be a fucking kid sometimes. But I think instead of being an authoritative, controlling, oh, you're just bad because you're bad, so I'm gonna hit you, or you just get time out because I said so type of parent, I really liked how he sat me down and would explain things to me and talk to me so that I actually understand. And that, I think, is something that I really appreciate. And actually also, him and my mom, actually, they both would reiterate to me a bunch of times while I was growing up that, hey, we're parents for the first time. So we're going to make mistakes. We're trying our best, but we're going to make mistakes. I get that my sister's older than me. They're like, we get that your sister came first. When your sister came into this world, we were parents for the first time. And just because you're second, it doesn't mean that we're better parents this time around. Because you're a whole different person. And so we have to be a whole different type of parents to you as well. So to you, we're also parents for the first time. And so we want to ask for a bit of grace in terms of, yeah, sometimes we'll make mistakes, but I hope you know that we always love you and we're always just trying our best. And that type of message really stood out to me growing up, and I really appreciate it. All right, on to the next. For my mom is somebody who is give me a minute. She is talented. She's so talented in the kitchen. You know how everyone's like, oh, my mom's the best cook. I miss my mom's cooking. My mom's food is the best. And we all know we're biased. And I know I could be biased. But I also know that my bias is also the bias of other people. That when I say my mom's a really fucking good cook, she's a really fucking good cook. I would say that part of my love for cooking was inspired by her. Because not only do a lot of my standards for Asian cooking come from her and growing up on the food that she would make, but so do the standards of a lot of our family members, extended family members, their friends, and some of my friends as well. They would say, and I know some people are like, oh, maybe they're just saying that to flatter you, or they're just yip yap into your face just to give you face. But no, it says a different story when throughout the years, all my life, numerous people would come back and say, dude, okay, they want to say dude to my mom, but you get the point. They'd say, I have never forgotten that one dish you made. Or I have never tried a dish better than how you make it. Or I need to have your recipe because every single other dish that I tried that's this exact same dish, it just doesn't compete. Every other dish is a disappointment from here on out. You made a curry, every single other curry I've tried, Laotian curry, every single other Laotian curry that I've tried from here on out, subpar. I just know it. Every other this dish, that dish, subpar. People come and they say, hey, I don't know how to say this, but can I pay you to make this dish? Because I've been missing it. I've been craving it. Can you make as big of a batch? I'll pay you for the ingredients. I'll pay you for your time. I just fucking want it. I can't order at a restaurant because I want your recipe and I want you to make it. So many people have said that to my mom. And time again, she just fucking delivers. She's such a good cook. She's the person where whenever there's a family event, whether it's on one side of my family, the other side of my family, she's one of those people that everyone's like, can you make that one dish? Can you make this dish? Can you make that dish? Can you teach me how to do this? Can you teach me how to do that? Oh, I messed up on my dish. Oh, just ask Viv's mom. Like, she'll know what to do. And so for my mom, she fucking talented in the kitchen. So fucking talented. A lot when I was growing up, my mom taught me a lot of the things that she knew and how to taste something and break down the flavors, think about how it's been cooked, think about what ingredients went into it. We would go to a restaurant, try a soup, and she would say, okay, I'm thinking of all the ingredients that went into it. I want you to think about it and tell me what you think is in it. And then if I ever missed an ingredient, she'd be like, how can't you taste that? Think about this. Taste it, and at this point, pick out that flavor. Try and single out that one flavor. That is this flavor. That is this flavor because you cooked it for this amount of time. You cooked it this way. And so a big reason why I think it's a huge tell to be able to cook things with a recipe and a little bit more intuitively. But a big reason why I feel like I can do it to a good degree now is because of my mom. Because growing up, that is a way that my mother and I connected, and she's so talented for it. And a lot of my intuition when it comes to flavors and breaking down a recipe after just trying it once comes from her. I'll give her that. All right, now we're on to my sister. Now, for my sister, I already know what to say. She is a purist. Hope that means a good thing. She's a purist in the sense of she's older than me, but even to this day, I can see in the little and big ways that she shows up that she just has good intentions all the time, to the point where it almost reminds me of a kid, where you can see their intentions so clearly because it's written on their face. They only move with good intentions. They only show exactly why they want something, how they care. And fortunately, because I'm her sister, I would like to say that she's quite a big fan of me. My sister is so caring. She pays so much attention to the people she cares for. And she is somebody that will celebrate you even when you fail to celebrate yourself. And to her, it's oh so gratifying because she just fucking cares. And it's to a point where you're almost amazed at how, I don't know, how when you're at this age, I feel like everyone has moments where life kind of jades you, life kind of makes you a little bit less soft. But my sister, tofu. My sister, a delicate flower. And it's almost beautiful. It's pretty beautiful to know somebody that still looks at the world, looks at people, at least the people she cares about, let's be real, with a lens that says, I am there for you, I care for you, and I will celebrate you. And for that, I think it's a very beautiful trait to have. She's a very loyal person. All right. The next prompt. Holy shit, we're like an hour in. The next prompt is top cartoons as a kid. Off the top of my head, when I was thinking about this, I thought, so fucking easy. Okay, these, I'm going to cheat a bit. These aren't going to be cartoons because I watched a lot of anime as a kid. I watched a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Dragon Ball Z. But the top two, the two fucking animes that were fucking plastered on 2 of the 4 of my bedroom walls were Naruto and Inuyasha. Oh my fucking. Actually, I also watched Cardcaptor Sakura a lot, but oh my fucking god. 2 out of 4 of my walls had scrolls, posters, little drawings of Inuyasha and Naruto. Not them specifically, but the anime. I was fucking obsessed with the both of them. I'd watch them probably every day, if not every day. I would collect some of the stuff. I named my first email. You know, when you create your first email, fucking ever. Some people use their names, some people use whatever. I had Songo in mind. Songo is a character from Inuyasha. I had a moment when I thought to myself, I was like so serious about it, where I thought, oh my god, what if I never meet somebody in the future as cool as Sasuke? Like, what am I gonna do? If I ever have a future man, he has to be cooler than that. I don't know if that's possible. It was crazy. A lot. Actually, I shouldn't say this. I was gonna say something about my passwords. Anyways, I was a big fan of Naruto and Inuyasha. I've watched all the episodes at least 3 times. For both. For Naruto, both. I collected figurines, anime specific merch. It was nuts. I was such a big fan of both of them. I watched all the shows, all the episodes. I would play and pretend that I was Shippo from Inuyasha or Sango. Actually, for the last Halloween, I thought it would be a really nice throwback to dress up as Sango, and I dressed Lumi, my dog, up as Kilala, which was so cute, so cute. And I had the Naruto 5th opening theme song as my ringtone for fucking years. I was a big fan. Anywho, let's move on to the next prompt. Talk about some of your current hobbies, why, where you're at, and what you want in the future. I feel like I am somebody who has an absurd amount of things that I'm interested in. Obviously, a lot of them are focused in some specific categories, like for mental stuff, space, science. For sports, pretty much just volleyball and weightlifting. But if you guys look at all the fucking different things that I read up on, and all the articles and studies I read up on, and all the little facts that I like to read, I'm so interested in a lot of things. I don't know if you could say it's a hobby to learn, but I love learning. I love reading about the world, about anything that I ever have a question why on, or I don't really know how it works. I love reading at least a little bit up on it. So I love learning. One of my hobbies, I would say, would be learning. Why? Is because, dude, there's so many interesting things in life. Everyone has a hobby. Everyone has things that they're interested in. There's billions of things that you could look into, billions of things you could become completely passionate in. You can get really into the nitty-gritty niches of anything. And so my perspective is that if there's somebody out there, or if there's even a topic that has a why to it, that somebody could call their passion, I kind of want to know why. I want to see what it is that makes that area, that topic interesting. Now, some of the things that I personally often go back to would be, as I just named, science related. It would be history related, now more so anthropology related. It would be space related, biology, and yes, I would say that's mostly a lot of things I read up on. Space, science, technology, anthropology, and biology. I love learning about all that stuff. I listen to podcasts regularly about those topics. I have an absurd amount. Let me check right now, actually. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. I have an absurd amount of articles open on my phone that whenever I'm like, oh my god, this is a really cool study, this is a really cool experiment that somebody did, or this is a really cool article about this specific really fucking niche topic in one of the topics that I just mentioned, I'll pull up that article and I'll be like, all right, it takes about X amount of time to read it. Sometimes I don't have time, so I'll open it, and whenever I have time, I like open up my browser and I go down this list of articles and studies and I just read up on. So I do a lot of reading, guys. And I just opened up my browser. I have 63 fucking articles that I need to read. Don't worry, they're not stagnant. They're always closing, opening, because I go through them and I read them every single day. But that's a big look into one of my hobbies, reading and learning. Now, to add more onto reading, I also read actual books. And I'm laying in bed right now because I'm fucking sick. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. I have 9 books literally right beside my bed right now that are my next go-to reads. And this is outside of my bookshelf of other books that I want to read or have read. One of the books I'm reading right now feels like a little late to the club, but a friend recently sold me on it because she's currently reading it, is The 48 Laws of Power. The way he writes, Mr. Robert Greene, a little egotistical, I don't really like his tone so much, but I think the content is really fascinating to observe. The other book that I'm reading is The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Belly. I don't really read the author's names, but that is another one that I'm reading right now. And don't worry, guys, I don't just read self-help books, even though I do think those are really critically interesting. I do read other books. And my next fictional book to read, or the last one I read, was Red Rising, the first 3 editions. But the next one I'm going to read, you look into it, I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because it's a little spicy. It's called Stale Pillows to Rely Upon. This one actually just randomly happened upon my lap because I was walking into a bookstore, going to look for other books that were on my list, and the author was doing a book signing here. And so I decided to buy a book on a whim. And this is one of the books. And this is my next to read after I finish. I'm taking the 48 Laws of Power slowly because I really want it to. I don't want to rush through this read. I just want to learn as I go, in a sense. And so my plan is that after I finish reading The Art of Thinking Clearly, then I'll go in and read Stale Pillows to Rely Upon. Something that I've recently taken a little bit of time, like an hour, to fill out is this app called Goodreads. If you guys like reading books, it's a great way to track the books that you read because we know I love buying books and having a little collection, but sometimes I'm just too eager to read a book, or I'm just lazy to go out and buy it. So you read it online through whatever source, and I think it's valuable to track all the books that I've read and all the books that I want to read, next to read. So on this app called Goodreads, you can track all the books that you want to read. Let me just open up my profile right now. This is an ad. In the My Books tab. So I have my books sorted as books I want to read, books I'm currently reading, books I've read in the last couple of years, my next 2 reads, and then my yet to read but I've already bought. I love this app. I say that even though I haven't opened it in a while. But it's because I'm still reading through the books. But every single time I flip through, finish a book, it's really a nice way to track your reads. I really like it. And then if you have friends on there, which I still need to add, but if you have friends on there, then you can see what reads that they have a little book club, have a little chat about the books you've read, and I find that really, really satisfying when you and your friends are aligned on what books you're currently reading. It's a lot of fun. All right, another one of my hobbies, volleyball. It's my one of 2 physical hobbies, and the reason why I like it is because it's fun. It's a social sport. I like how it's challenging. It's strategic. You make a lot of good friends while you play volleyball, but also I like the competitive nature. I'm a very competitive person. I fucking love going to tournaments because of that atmosphere, the energy, the demand that it asks of you to really focus, be strategic, hone in on your skills, focus, and really synergize with your team. I love all of it. I'm not a amazing player, but I do really enjoy what the sport offers and learning more about the sport and committing to the sport. I am currently playing only on one league day right now, and this summer I've been competing in a couple tournaments and a couple beach tournaments, which would be the first year that I started playing beach. Beach is so fucking humbling. Holy shit. I can't do any of the inefficient habits that I normally do indoors, but it's so much fun. I really do enjoy it, and I'm hoping that as I continue to play it, I've only ever actually played it beach 4 times now. Like literally stepping on the court 4 times, including one tournament. But I'm hoping in the next couple of years that I improve more and that I play more beach. For what I want in the future with this sport is that I love it. I'm hoping that I play it until I literally physically can't, which I'm hoping is later rather than sooner, because I'm hoping that I intentionally will want to try and maintain my health, my physical health, so I can play volleyball until I die. My other hobby is weightlifting, going to the gym. The reason why is because I like feeling strong. I like how it's a solo sport. I like the feeling that it gives me afterwards, the endorphins, the dopamine that it gives me afterwards. I like how it's time that I routinely spend to commit to myself and take care of myself. I love the mechanical science behind it. Currently, I've been lifting. I started lifting in grade 12, and I've had periods of times when I focused a lot more on powerlifting and years when I focused more on body building or weightlifting, and I had years where I just maintained for a while. I had years when I focused a lot on bringing up my deadlift and my squat, like more so powerlifting, I guess. Those were those years. And then I would say in the last couple years, I am more on the maintaining side of things. I had this one injury where I broke my middle finger in my left hand from volleyball, and that really changed the game for me personally because I wasn't able to deadlift for over a year to nowhere near the same degree at all because I couldn't fucking hold the bar. And I felt like it really delayed my progress and dampened my desire and the reward and the feeling of just being in the gym when I can't really hold a dumbbell and I can't grip things as easily. So I feel like I think that happened 2 years ago. So in the last 2 years, it's kind of impacted my reward when I go to the gym, the feeling that I get and how hard I train myself. I would say that I'm still not back to my same grip as I was before I broke my finger. If you guys look at my finger nowadays, even though this incident happened over a year ago, my finger is no longer straight. And when you grip, you know how you can tell how you grip a bar, if you grip it really evenly or whatever it is, by how your calluses form? Previously, I was akin to gripping the most and putting the most amount of pressure between my middle finger and my ring finger. But since I injured my middle finger, it's really changed how I have to teach myself to grip with my left hand. And I feel like I'm still not 100% yet. So that's where that's at. And of course, in the future, I do want to continue weightlifting for the rest of my life. And hopefully going back to deadlifting a little more heavily. Some of my other hobbies would be, I do like cooking and baking a lot. I fucking love it. It's something that I have always loved as a kid. I love the aspect of being able to create something from scratch and allowing your creativity to flow that way. Seeing people enjoy your food would be just as rewarding for me. But because now I don't really have somebody or anybody that would, I guess I could bring food to my friends, but I guess that's an excuse of mine that I'm lazy to do. But because on a day-to-day basis, I feel like I don't have immediate people to bring my food to and have them enjoy, it's not as rewarding to me. I feel like I don't get the full circle reward of baking something or cooking something if I don't have somebody immediate to cook it for. So I haven't been as creative or baked as often as I typically would, because even my immediate family, they don't eat a lot of dessert, and they are very particular with the things that they eat on a daily. So I haven't actually been as creative and as adventurous when it's come to cooking and baking, but that is a huge hobby and interest in mine. In the future, of course, knock myself out. I want to continue baking and cooking and try all the things I haven't tried and be really creative with it. I would say those are my main hobbies and my main interests. I can think of a whole bunch of small ones, but I think for my main ones, those would be it. All right, sick. Well, thanks for listening to my podcast, guys. We went a good solid hour and 13 minutes. I haven't been able to breathe through my nose this whole entire time. And I'm getting fucking tired because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So thanks for listening to my podcast. I hope you guys really enjoy hearing me ramble on, hearing me talk about these topics. I hope you guys find Alvin's podcast really interesting. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.